how to make your chord progressions, or just any chord progression, have a little bit more sparkle and a little bit more just something to it. So I'm going to give you a few different ways that are so simple but have a big emotional impact. First of all, I'm going to show you all the different things that you could add using the same chord. So I'm basically just going to explain the theory of them. So we're going to use C major for all of these explanations, and then I'll just show you a couple of chord progressions without these things added, and then with, so you can sort of hear the difference. So the first one is add 2/9. So this is C major chord. So an add 2 is where you add the second note of the scale, in this case C major, to the chord. So you're adding it into the mix. So in this case it's a D. So that's an add 2. The reason why it's called add 2/add 9 is because the 2 is really the same note as the 9th note. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. It's a D, so I would call it an add 9 if it's on top, if it sticks out as being the highest voice of the chord. So we have an add 2, add 9. So we can also do that with 4s, so exact same thing applies. So this is an add 4. So the other thing as well is still going back to 2s and 4s, so we can do sus2s. So that's where you take out the third, whether it's minor or major, which dictates whether it's major or minor the third, and you swap it out for either the second note or the fourth. You can just hear it's just desperate to resolve into something. That's why they sound quite emotionally impactful, and particularly if you're not resolving them. So you get this constant feeling of non-resolution, building tension with sus chords. Or if you do resolve them, it just sounds a lot more satisfying, particularly if you hold off the resolution of the third as well. There's 2 more things to look at. One is split chords. So this is where you play one chord, for example if we're doing an accompaniment in the right hand, but then you play, well, the lowest note of the chord will be different. So if we play C major, typically you have C, which is the root note of the chord, at the bottom, like the root of a tree is at the base. If we switch that up to a different note, so now we're going to play G, so this is C over G. So this is like a split or a slash chord. So the chord is always written on the left, and the bass note is always written on the right, which I know is confusing. And what you could have a go at is changing the bass note. I'm just going up the C major scale, and decide which ones you like. I like it when we have a 5th in the bass, so in this case it's G, because G is the 5th note of the scale. I think thirds sound effective. You experiment and put the dominant 7th in there, which would be the minor 7th, so in this case that's a B flat. So one thing which I think actually is just quite obvious is inversions. So I can play a C sus2 chord here. I can also play it like this. So just to bear in mind, so it's still the same effect, but just playing around with different voicings and not always playing everything in root position all of the time. Inversions are so necessary to make music, encourage music to sound more interesting. So now let's dive into chord progressions. I'm just going to mess around and do a mixture of these things. I might not add absolutely everything into one chord progression. So let's take, again, C major, B major, B flat major even, F major, and back to C. So we've got C major, B flat major and F major, so just 3 chords there. So what we're going to do is change that up and make what's effectively a 3-chord chord progression sound like it's got more variation. Might keep the C just the C, to be honest, but you could add a 2 in there. And the next chord was B flat, so I'm gonna add the 2 in here this time. And then, because we've got a B flat there, I think it would sound effective if we went down a semitone in the bass. So I'm actually going to make the F chord into a split chord. As well, what I'm going to do to the F in the left hand, add the G. Now we have F add 2, which is this, but I'm playing it in a different order, just with A in the left hand, but I'm just sharing the notes with my left hand. And then I'm also going to play another split chord here. I'm going to play C over G. So now we have because this G is the dominant, makes it's not a resolving note, it very much sounds like it needs to continue. So then I'm going to continue, so I'm going to go back to the B flat chord again, so I'm going to go down and play a different inversion this time. So we played the add 2 there, now I'm going to play it here. I'm going to play just F over A. And then I'm going to resolve it now, so not before I add C sus4. So like an open C sus4. So if I play it with a bit more rhythm. So already the sound's just a bit more emotionally driven. Now if I play it, without all of those, adding the add 2s, the slash chords, etc., the sus chords, it still sounds nice as a chord progression, but it just elevates it. It just makes it just sound a lot more special. So I hope you enjoyed that video. I hope you are well, and I will see you in the next video. Bye bye. That's the end of this video. If you have a request, please leave them in the comment section of this video. Also remember to like and subscribe. I've left some videos here you might like, so go and check those out. I also have a course, so if you would like to learn how to read music from scratch, go visit Bitesize Piano Course.co.uk. You can enroll and start learning. I'll see you in the next video.